guest who has just joined in, Mission Key Kong. Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
We are good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So glad to be on.
So any thoughts on our today's Blab topic? How social media is changing content ownership that you would like to share?
Sure, yes. Well, I actually, Mission Key Communications, we work with nonprofit organizations and arts organizations. And so social
Okay.
media is definitely a huge push in the nonprofit sector. And it's social media is definitely has changed content ownership, as you said. And I think it's so important for um, for organizations to, I guess, showcase their own expertise, because really what social media does is it kind of takes away the barriers to sharing information, and it takes away the barriers to
Right.
presenting yourself as an expert in a particular area. So one of the things that we do is to help nonprofit organizations come up with ways to share their voice, because really, nonprofit leaders are experts in their fields. And so social media kind of takes away all of
Right.
those limitations, and you can really jump out there and showcase the things that you know, in a way that you can own your own content and your own ideas. And I also always think the best way to use social media is to produce your own original content. So it's definitely a great platform for that.
Hey, thanks.
Right.
Thank you for sharing with us. Okay, so I was kind of going into, say, the content, the infringement part of the entire business. So what happens is ownership is gone when you come on social media. It's very difficult to define that this is your stuff. So what happens is anyone can pick up your content, start sharing under their name. So that's a big challenge that we need to address. The government of the world are trying to do it. They are trying to say control the voices, but I'm not sure how long they can do it and how effectively they can do it when they try to do it, because there is always this next medium that comes up and people will jump on and start sharing their thoughts.
Mm-hmm. So they're trying to regulate it? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I guess we have seen many, few governments across the world trying to regulate. Definitely, yes. So, but that might not happen because there's always this one platform where people will jump into and start sharing thoughts. It's difficult to control. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Even if I jump in and we are talking about the government controlling the content of press, and if we convert it a little bit, if we take a U-turn, a detour, and talk about the brand content, the content floated by brands, actually owned by them. So there are content which are owned by the brands, which they release on their website, their blogs, in their advertisements, in their commercial campaigns. Ultimately, social media is deregulating the whole sphere, because it is ultimately getting owned by the consumer now. So social media is putting the power to own and govern and even modify and, put it further with your own, attachments. It is all going in the hands of the consumer. So especially like when we talk about low control messages for the firm, which are like more in the form of the word of the mouth, right? Word of the mouth and the virality which is promised by social media. That virality is a little dangerous in this age of where you don't have a specific answer to who owns the content.
Yeah. So that's what. So what comes here is consumer definitely owns the content. So it's no more that the brands will say, okay, this is my content, or this you cannot use it, because there will always be someone else. And say, coming back on the media business, I have seen or I have worked with brands who want to regulate it, who want to define their rights. They chase people or other brands who try to use their content, but then ultimately they give up because the cost of saving the content and say letting it go is tremendous. So they prefer to let it go rather than chase and say bring others to the books. It's not regulated. The government, while they have those IPR norms, but again there is always a loophole which people try to exploit.
Yeah, I think maybe perhaps branding can play a role in helping companies to differentiate their content so that when other consumers see it, they'll know, oh, this person's content, they're saying it's theirs, but I know that this company has been doing it for so long of a time that like if someone tried to take the Coca-Cola slogan or the McDonald's slogan, you can't really say that's yours because everyone knows that it's McDonald's. So I think probably with some consistency in your branding and your messaging, people get to associate it with you. And while that might not protect you from everything, I think it definitely helps so that people can flag when they do see your content in other places. They might be able to help and kind of be a whistleblower, so to speak.
In fact, that's a very, very important point that you raised, because if your branding is in place, nobody can dilute your content. As far as the association with brands is concerned, because your branding gives you a lot of identity and associations, as you rightly said. But what I also see in this age and stage of social media is, with more and more people coming on different platforms like Blab, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, they're going to pick up content from anywhere. So the intellectual property rights, the IPR becomes very, very important. The trademarks become very, very important. The legal side of branding becomes very important, because if you want to associate with your content as far as your ownership is concerned, otherwise the ownership at times will get diluted.
Right. No, so that's what. So legal experts are kind of divided right now. So what is good, what is not, what is legal. There is a very thin line. So it's like when it comes to internet. As I said, so probably in the US there are some stringent IPR laws. Unfortunately, at other places, say including our country, they are not very strong, or the implementation is still a challenge. So probably it might take a year or two for those rules to come out and get implemented.
Right.
You want someone else to join in, or so is Dr. Picard still unable to join?
He is unable to. The finding screen is going on. He's unable to log in. So will anybody else can join in from the audience if they want to?
I actually have to run, guys, but thank you so much for letting me join in. I really appreciate the conversation.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Lovely having you here. Join us every Wednesday.
Yes, thank you. All right, take care.
Bye.
You too, take care. Bye. Anybody else from the audience would like to join in? Khushbu, Priyal, Akatma.
Okay, so for Priyal, it's a new concept. Yeah, Priyal, but it's pretty good. It works out pretty well for all of us. The video part of it definitely works pretty well. And yeah, for others, if there is any question, you can use the window down there. So you can start a question with /Q, and we will soon be able to see the question. Khushbu wants to join in, so let me pull her in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Priyal, she's joining, so I guess she should join now. Okay, I guess she's there. Hey,
Hey,
Kushbu.
Kushbu.
Hey, hi Malhar, hi Falguni ma'am, how are you all?
We are
Hey.
good.
So I'm actually using from my cell phone. So am I audible or visible? I don't know.
Yes, 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 yes.
You are
Okay,
audible and visible both. Go ahead.
okay.
So give us
I
some
just
thoughts. Yeah.
Yes, I was actually thinking about what Malhar just said on legal aspects
Mhm.
about
Yeah.
that stuff. So I also noticed many of the international companies, US companies basically, have their social media policies placed
Right.
inside their organization, which plays a big role in actually guiding their employees on the content generation part, also as well
Mm-hmm.
content distribution part. So these policies make sure that the content is branded, as our previous guest also was mentioning, and also they are distributed ethically. So these policies make sure the things. So I guess in India also, if these policies are in place, content generation and distribution would be much more easier.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
definitely good point. No, so what happens like individuals within the brand? Say typically, if I say if I am a brand, so I definitely have a social media policy which says okay, you have to post it here, you have to use this keyword, or you have to
Mm.
say have your say brand name in this size or use this color. All those things are typically placed. But when it
Mm.
goes outside, say outside my control, say when it probably reaches you or any other person, they could change the color and probably start using it or sharing it. I have no control over it, right? So I can probably go chase
Right.
them and say, okay, this is not, tell them that this is not our brand, that you are, does not follow our brand guidelines. So you change it. But then the cost of, say, chasing that person and, say, getting them to change the content is much higher then probably I let it go. But yeah, it depends on the content as well. So if there's something which is critical, yeah, you might worsen and change it. But if there's something very casual, yeah, you might want to let it go.
So just to
For,
take Khushbu's point, it's a very important point and issue if things are in place. But there are two things. One is strict laws, and the second is strict application of laws. So there's a legal framework
Correct.
and there's an implementation framework. So these two are very, very critical. So what happens here is while you have laws in place, you can regulate your content ownership within the firm, within the group of employees that are legally binding to form your to follow your laws. But when it goes to the consumer spectrum, as Malhar said, it's again a wider circle that you are talking about. It may be beyond your control. And also when people are misusing your content, when consumers are forwarding content without giving any credit to you as a content creator, there are two issues. As I said, if the application is weak, the stakes at their end are lower because they don't fear anything. There is no fear of any penalty. There is no fear of any action on them. So that is how I think both are governed. So the strict laws as well as implementation of laws have to be in place.
Even I was noticing there's a huge social media policy for Gujarat, also Gujarat
Okay.
government, but I don't see any implementation of those policies ever. So they have made the policies, but there's no implementation everywhere.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's a
that's
challenge.
true.
So it's a challenge of size, I would say. Probably say if say typically if I have 10 people, I can regulate it. If I have 10 lakhs,
Right,
it's something that becomes impossible to manage,
right,
right?
right.
The challenge of scale and size that I see pretty regularly, it becomes very difficult.
Right.
Correct.
So yeah, so Falguni, again back to you. So probably I'm not sure if the
I
guest
think
is
he
able
just
to make it.
messaged, yeah, he just messaged me saying that he has been trying since last 45 minutes and now he's too
Wow.
frustrated. So he's he's in no hope to join us, and he might have to close the idea. So unfortunate, but yeah, he has tried his best. He's on the laptop since 9:15, but he's not able to.
Yeah, shucks. It's pretty bad. So yeah, probably I don't know. Say blame the internet, blame the blab. So you can blame anything.
In fact, he's apologizing.
No.
He's sending his apologies, and Malhar.
Yes.
What I can do is I will quickly get his thoughts tomorrow. Prepare a blog post for our Facebook page on this topic.
Perfect. So people on the Blab, so we have a Facebook group that is facebook.com/Blab2Learn. So you can join it, and you'll be welcome to take the discussion forward on that platform as well. Thank you so much.
And what I'll do is I will only give the total views of Dr. Picard. So I'll take his interview tomorrow and I will give his total views on this topic, how social media is changing content ownership, right?
Yes, that would be awesome.
Correct.
Makes sense, guys?
Would be awesome.
Yeah, great.
Makes sense.
I'll just share the group URL so it's easier for others to join in.
Someone's phone is ringing.
Yeah. Blame me. I'll put it on the chat window in a minute. So if you want to log out, yeah. Khushbu, thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure.
Khushbu.
Always a pleasure to have you and talk to you. Yeah.
Thanks, Khushbu.
Bye. I just. Right, I have it here. Just a minute. Yeah, there's the group ID, so you can join in the group and probably share your thoughts over the rest of the week. And for everyone on the Blab, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again next Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. IST, and 12 noon. So join us. We'll have another interesting guest, and hopefully no technical problem. Thank you. Thanks, Tanya. See you. Right.
Thank you so much. Good night from here. Bye. Take care. Please join us every Wednesday to keep the enthusiasm going. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Nikhil. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rishi. Bye. Good night.